I think when I won the Gold Cup, that was the crowning achievement of my whole life.
The unlimited hydroplanes, the powerhouses of boat racing, run for the Gold Cup. This is the one every man in boat racing strives to win, because this is the top
Mic
prize.
check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Microphone check.
Take the lead. And now it's almost completely off the water. The object? A small Tiffany Gold Cup that represents the pinnacle of achievement for the hydroplane racer.
Well, that's exactly right. But speaking of Fast Eddie Guntersville, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Hello, race fans, and welcome to Guntersville, Alabama, on beautiful Lake Guntersville. It is the running of the 112th APBA Gold Cup for H1 Unlimited hydroplanes. You are watching our show this weekend on the H1 Unlimited YouTube channel. My name is Brad Luce, and I'm going to be working with my broadcast partner diligently this weekend to bring you all of the action that takes place here on one of the fastest 2.5-mile ovals that the H1 Unlimited circuit has to offer. I mentioned my broadcast partner. He is a man that when it comes to H1 Unlimited racing needs absolutely no introduction. You know his name, you know his face. He's been calling H1 Unlimiteds for many, many years. He is from Madison, Indiana. It is my great pleasure to welcome to the broadcast this year Mr. Jeff Ayler. Jeff, welcome to Guntersville, Alabama, and the 2022 APBA Gold Cup.
Brad, good afternoon. Thank you for the wonderful introduction, and we're back at the Gold Cup. We're kicking off the H1 Unlimited season here in Sweet Home, Alabama, Guntersville, Lake Guntersville, and it's going to be a great weekend of racing, Brad, not only with the H1 Unlimiteds, but with the Grand Prix America Series presented by Knighton Industries and the Pro Lights with their series sponsor, Phenom Digital. So lots of action for the fans here at Lake Guntersville. Weather conditions, it's hot and humid. Wind is just fine. Water looks pretty.
The water right now, Jeff, as you just mentioned, looks absolutely perfect. It's better than pretty. And we're getting ready to kick off our first test session of the weekend. It will be open to all three of our classes of hydroplanes that are here to compete this weekend. We are being told to expect the U40, the Beacon Plumbing, with Dave Vilwalk out first. This is a test session. We should be getting some lap speeds. We will relay those as we get them. But, Jeff, before we came on the air, you and I were talking about Gold Cups and how many we've worked together. I think we finally decided and agreed we'd worked on about 10 of these together. But if I've got it right, this is number 13 for you.
It is, Brad. Been blessed. This is my 13th Gold Cup on the microphone, and you and I have done 10, all in Detroit. And I can't wait for this APBA Gold Cup to get underway tomorrow here in Guntersville when we begin closed course racing on this beautiful facility here in Northeast Alabama. This site is meant for boat racing. Boat racing is here. Guntersville loves it. Katie Norton and her team, first class.
They are a first-class organization, and they started racing again here in Guntersville in 2018. Katie took over administering this program and getting this race going. Each year, they seem to step it up just a little bit further, and this year during the off-season, H1 Unlimited awarded them the Gold Cup. for all their efforts. They have taken every extra step. This should really be something special.
Looking forward to it. And Brad, you've been busy on the microphone and streaming. We've had 2 testing sessions for the H1 Unlimited Hydroplanes. The first one on the Columbia River in western Washington State in Vancouver. Good turnout. Maybe down the road, an actual event.
I'll tell you what, that was a good venue. We had a 2-mile race course. Viewing on the front straightaway side was absolutely terrific. The sight lines were very good. People up and down the walkway. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful neighborhood there. They had a great view of the boats on the water, and the fans seemed to really take to it. I'd love to see us down in Vancouver.
And now your neck of the woods in Tri-Cities, Washington. The test a few weekends ago on the Columbia River on Friday. And Brad, the first boat we'll see out here will be the Beacon Plumbing. No doubt on paper, the talk of the 2 testing sessions. Then Chip Hanauer, Atlas Van Lines in 82, Miss Budweiser 92. Then Dave Vilwalk steps into the picture in 2012 and 2002. So Gold Cup's ending in the number 2 in that year. Vilwalk's on track to win this one. He's might be the early favorite.
He might just be the early favorite. And Jeff, we've been waiting for this a long time. I know you have been waiting for this a very long time. We have an H1 Unlimited hydroplane on the water. It is the U-40, the Miss Beacon Plumbing, driven by Dave Vilwalk. You were just talking about him. 68 years of age, 67 career victories. He has won and done everything you can do in this sport.
Done it all. And of course, Brad, you remember 1992, won his very first ever unlimited hydroplane race at Mission Bay in San Diego in the U-102.5 Coors Dry. And ever since then, Dave has been a fixture in H1 Unlimited hydroplane racing. Brad, he's going deep up in turn number 2, and I expect the wick to be turned up early.
I expect the wick to be turned up early. He's already warmed it up coming all the way across the lake. Dave Vilwalk in the U-40, the Beacon Plumbing. He will christen and open the ceremonies here for the 2022 APBA Gold Cup. Vilwalk across the line, and Jeff Taylor, we've got a hydroplane on the clock.
Boy, beautiful boat ride into turn number 1. Dave Vilwalk driving for Kelly and Sharon Stockland. The U-40, Miss Beacon Plumbing, works through turn number 1. Brad off that turn, silky smooth through turn 1.
Yeah, real smooth. This is what we saw in Vancouver. This is what we saw in the Tri-Cities. The boat was solid as a rock, and for those of you watching on the H1 Unlimited YouTube channel, you're looking at these water conditions, and they are just absolutely perfect. It's almost glass smooth, almost too smooth, Jeff Taylor. Mr. Vilwalk's enjoying it.
Up in turn number 2, working well the first time around. We will read testing speeds for you through the H1 Unlimited YouTube channel. Vilwalk coming down to complete his first testing lap on the clock in the U-40. Miss Beacon Plumbing.
And welcome back to this U.S. Open office plan.
Miller just lobbed a message way over Jones's head.
Afternoon at Lake Guntersville in Guntersville, Alabama. Working through turn 1. Brad will get a speed here momentarily, but I like the ride. They look hot right out of the box.
Well, we were just talking about it. These guys have been smiling. I think they've got something. I think they've got something for everybody. And welcome to Guntersville. Jeff, that's part of this whole Gold Cup experience is seeing good friends. And how about that, Jeff, right out of the box? First speed of the weekend, north of 160 miles an hour.
160.210, 160.210 for Dave Vilwalk, 10-time APBA Gold Cup champion. Of course, the H1 Unlimited hydroplanes, Brad, the world's fastest racing boats, 6,700 pound racing vessel, 28-foot length, 14-foot wide. Straightaway speeds capable of up to 200, but in competition here as Vilwalk slows. We saw it last year on the telemetry after the event. J. Michael Kelly in the Miss Tri-Cities was seeing shoot speeds at the end of each shoot at the low 190 mark. They get around here quickly.
Well, if Katie Norton, our event director, was sitting here, she'd just smile and look at you and say, you know what? This is the South's fastest water, and I think Mr. Villwalk wanted to emphasize the point. Second lap momentarily.
I thought they had a good test in Tri-Cities. We mentioned earlier, this boat was the top qualifier here at last year's Southern Cup. Brad, does that provide confidence to this team starting out here in 2022 looking for a Gold Cup, because they know this boat works well on this water?
They do, and I think it really does bode well for both of these boats because, as you said, they both ran very, very well. I remember talking to J. Michael Kelly and Corey Peabody in the Tri-Cities, and they both had the same thing to say, that they loved Madison, but unfortunately, that tight course you were talking about there on the Ohio River kind of gobbled both of them up. They like this course here. They can stretch the legs in these things. These boats are going to be someone you're going to have to deal with all weekend.
And that top speed last year in qualifying at Lake Guntersville was 158.623 miles per hour. And Brad, right now, Corey going at a leisurely pace, I think, re-identifying himself with this 2.5-mile oval here at Lake Guntersville. Tagging as the South's fastest water, and that's 100% correct.
And they can back it up. You don't have to walk very far, Jeff. Just right behind here, you'll find a former world record holder on display right behind us, and we'll talk about it a lot tomorrow. But for the fans, when they come in, you're going to have to find your way up the start-finish line. Take a look at a real piece of history, that 1962 world record setter, the Miss US with Roy Doobie. We'll get to that. Meanwhile, Corey comes off the lower corner. Not jumping on it just yet, but he will. He's finding his way around, like you said.
The dominant silver with the fluorescent orange effect on the top of the capsule, the top of the cowling, and the canard wing up in the front, Brad, a very valuable tool for the H-1 Unlimited hydroplane pilots. That canard wing, which they can adjust inside the cockpit. That left foot pedal, it's not a brake, it's to adjust that canard.
Yeah, it's not a brake. You start pushing that pedal, you want to go a little faster. And Corey certainly knows how to do that. They do drive with 2 feet. They control the gas pedal, then they control that front canard wing, and that addresses how much air goes underneath the boat. Looks like Corey, I thought maybe he was going to put his foot in it there, but I don't think so just yet. But Corey's going to come off the top end of the race course, come down and complete his first lap, albeit a slow one. The U9 Lynx Healthcare. So glad to have them on board with us for our first 3 races.
Corey spotter, Jeff Campbell, right below our position here, Brad, at the start-finish line. And Jeff Campbell has been with this hydroplane for a number of years, and he knows how to make it sing.
He really does. And I want to point out something to our fans that are watching online. We'll talk about it as we go through the weekend, but there were some issues. Some people had a hard time telling the 2 boats apart, the 8 and the 9. It's very easy this year, Jeff. The 8 that you'll see come out here later today, the fairings, the vertical uprights at the back of the boat are bright orange, and it's a much brighter orange than it was a year ago. Very bright orange. They are silver on Corey's ride, the U9. And talk about his ride, the Little Bullet. He's running up the backstretch hard now. Corey Peabody.
And you can tell along the shoreline here visually, and of course watching online, streaming H1 Unlimited via YouTube. Corey Peabody up in turn number 2, and the U9 Lynx Healthcare keeps it in about a lane 1 sequence. Nice turn, works that canard as he'll come down to complete a lap on the clock in testing only for the H1 Unlimited here at Guntersville, Alabama. Peabody back into turn number 1 with the big bridge in the background. Brad, it's not a big left-hand sweeper, but it's a little close.
It's still a left-hand sweeper, and I know you'll bring that out this weekend. Just part of the vocabulary that our friend Jeff Ayler loves to use. You're going to hear all kinds of good cliches and one-liners out of Jeff. He's been doing this for a long time. He's got his own very unique style, and it is just more fun than two people are supposed to be able to have when Jeff and I get together on a microphone. Look at Corey, top end of the race course. Slides it out to about lane number 2. It'd be a tight one inside him. But here he comes to put his first hot lap in the books. He turned that first one, just warming up at 136. This one's going to be a whole lot higher than that one. Corey Peabody, Lynx Healthcare, Jeff.
Little walking activity. When we say walking, that's that boat tiptoeing back and forth on the sponsons. Back into turn number 1. Corey the last time around, 136.388. You see that secondary rooster tail off the skid fin, bolted behind the left sponson. It helps turn the Unlimiteds. And Brad, smooth run. Will he get in the 160 bracket?
We're about to find out. We haven't got that first hot lap speed yet. They're still monitoring the H1 network here. We'll have it very, very shortly. You're watching H1 Unlimited Hydroplanes on the H1 Unlimited YouTube channel. Brad Luce along with Jeff Ayler. It is our first testing session for the 2022 APBA Gold Cup. Jeff, we didn't get the exact speed, but it was in the area of 159, so he's right there.
It's a beauty, 159 plus, and there's that walking activity once again, Brad, and they like that. That way the boat is not stuck to the water. They like that tiptoe activity to free it up as he works back into turn number 1 on this lightning quick 2.5 mile course here at Lake Guntersville. Exits the turn. Brad, I think the 9 has come to play. They're looking for the gold.
Yeah, you mentioned that they were the top qualifier a year ago. It was not at 159 miles an hour. It was something short of that. I think they've got to be very happy with the way the boat is running right now. It's a test session. You want to try, and we've got another speed, 159.855 miles an hour. 159.855, Jeff. As you like to say, he's sniffing that 160 mark.
He's sniffing that 160, and he's cranking it up. We'll come down to complete another lap here on the clock in testing only. Corey Peabody, U9 Lynx Healthcare. You can tell right off the throttle a little bit.
We want to control what happens to us. We want to write our own history. We want to tell our own story because we feel that we know it.
By the sound of the Lycoming turbine entering turn number 1, we'll get a time for you. And I think it's a good way to start off the weekend for the 9. And Brad, yes, he is directing the craft back to the pit area, which is a long way from our position here at the start-finish line. And Brad, he did it. 160.568 miles per hour. 160.568 for Corey Peabody. They're aggressive.
They're aggressive. They're also very good. And, you know, one thing we really haven't talked about, we have 7 boats here. Honestly, we say this all the time, and you are guilty of it, and so am I. We overhype the field. Sometimes we can fall into that trap. We can overhype the field and say, wow, there's 6 or 7 boats that can win here. Jeff, there's 6 or 7 boats here that can win this thing.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say every boat in that pit area in H1 Unlimited will do laps of over 155 miles per hour in testing. Either today or tomorrow, all 7 will be over $155.
I don't think there's any question about it. And we haven't talked about that piston packer that's going to be in there. The Terminator is here for the first time, and you've said it for years, Jeff Ayler. You think this course lays out perfectly for that boat. Ed Cooper's U3, the Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware. A shout out to Ace Hardware, a shout out to Charlie Grigg for working with Ed Cooper and bringing the 3 down here. Fans, you are in for a treat when the U3 comes out on the water with Jimmy King, and they are a player.
Well, shame on me for missing the first 2 Southern Cups. And when I saw this water here last year, one of the first things I told you, Ed Cooper has to get this boat here. The U3 Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware with the 1710 cubic inch turbocharged Allison engine, cranks over 3,000 horsepower, a dynamite driver in Jimmy King at 61 years of age, drives like a 21-year-old. Get this boat on the pins, right scenario, right water conditions, never say never. They got a shot.
It's an awfully, awfully fast hydroplane. The turbines have nothing on this boat, especially in the straightaways. And we have a longer run that you're going to see coming off that exit pin at the top end of the race course down to the start-finish line. We like to talk about 9.5, maybe 10 seconds off that exit pin. It's longer than that here. And he's going to have that opportunity to crank all those cubic inches you're talking about, and he's going to have them up at full throttle. He hits it on the line in good, clean water on an inside lane. You got your hands full driving around the 3.
And you mentioned Charlie Grigg. What a great addition to the sport of H1 Unlimited Hydroplane Racing, the local sponsor out in Tri-Cities, Washington. Brad, you're very familiar with the Griggs family businesses in Southeast Washington State. And Charlie, thank you for helping Ed get down to the Gold Cup. And Charlie would like to be here, but he's working the Richland Regatta on the Columbia River for the APBA Western Divisionals this weekend. So got a funny feeling he might be tuning in some to us.
Well, he definitely wanted to be down here, but he's not only involved in going down to
that did hydroplane racing on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Bill Fleming, absolutely. He did a lot of them, and you don't realize it till you get back and start watching a lot of that stuff in the late 60s and into the 70s. Bill Fleming, he was right there. And a Detroit native, I believe, that ended up at Wide World of Sports for ABC. Dave Dials did hydroplane racing as well.
Dave Dials, yeah, we can go on down that list. A lot of them have had good careers and spent a certain amount of time with the H1 Unlimited circuit, some more than others. We've got a boat up at the top end of the race course, and it's one of my favorites. And I'm going to tell everybody who wants to look at the stream here, get a good close look at this boat if you can. There is, from my way of thinking, I'm not sure there's a better looking boat on the race course. There's no color that is harder to work with than gold, and this paint job is spectacular.
Oh, it sets off on the water, and also, too, when it's on tilt on the trailer, it's a beautiful paint scheme. The U91, Miss Goodman Real Estate. Brad, I was asked a trivia.
I need to ask you something, and I need you to tell me the truth. What tires should I buy tomorrow?
Turo tires. They're affordable, reliable, tires you could trust.
You're not just saying that because you're a cardboard representation of an Turo tire spokesman.
No. Affordable all-season tires for great handling and longer tread life. Turo.
A question.
Uh-oh.
At Chandler Chevrolet earlier this week from our service department manager, Travis Guyman. Jeff, why is that boat U91? 1991 was the year that the sponsor, John Goodman, began his business.
And if I was smart, I would have made that one of our footnotes on here in our little cheat sheet where some of this stuff is. But quite candidly, until you told me that over coffee this morning, I didn't know that. So thank you, Mr. Ayler, as Jeff Bernard runs hard up the backstretch in one of the most winningest hulls in the history of H1 Unlimited Racing. It is the third winningest hull of all time. It has entered 64 races. This is number 65. They have claimed 25 wins, including, get this, 4 Gold Cups and 8 National High Points Championships. Jeff Bernard, you know, can drive. These guys are a player.
Bernard putting some smoke to it down the front straightaway here. He's on the clock and testing only here for the H1 Unlimited. Bernard resides in Kent, Washington, married to his wife Christabel, who is watching this afternoon, and they have 2 daughters. Oldest Blakely, the youngest Rylan, off the turn, U91 looking good right out of the box.
And Christabel, you mentioned her. Christabel, if you're listening, we miss you. We're right here in the sand where we always are on start-finish line. Hello to Christabel. We'll make sure we give you all the action and let you know what Jeff is doing. He flew on the red eye last night to get down here. He's had a few bags under his eyes when I saw him this morning, but he'll get a good night's sleep tonight and he'll be ready to go. The top end of the race course, the U91, gold and black, the Miss Goodman Real Estate. Off the top end of the course, here he comes, Jeff. We'll get a speed on him here as he puts a hot lap in the books.
Boy, beautiful boat ride as he approaches the start-finish line buoy. Jeff Bernard and Goodman Real Estate. presented by Knighton Industries. For Mike Grindell in the Bad Influence. So Jeff looking for a Gold Cup in Unlimited and a Southern National title in GPA. Looking sharp here, though, in the Black and Gold 91.
Yeah, it's just a great-looking hydroplane. You've been watching this boat for so many years. The hull first hit the water in 2007. We'll remember it very, very well as it showed up as the Oh Boy Oberto. And we've got a fast lap coming out for Jeff just north of 158 miles an hour. I think you can see the whole number there, Jeff.
158.233 miles per hour for Jeff Bernard the last time around. 158.233. Second entry for Miss Madison Racing out of Madison, Indiana. Jeff Bernard flies the U91. Goodman Real Estate across the start-finish line buoy. As he works into turn number 1, Brad puts it on the hook. Boat looking good right here out of the box. The U91, Goodman Real Estate. We're going to have a second boat come out in testing as well. It appears to be the U8 Miss Tri-Cities, but Brad, I think J. Michael let Jeff get some clean water. We'll see what this lap turns out to be, and it's faster. 159.148 miles per hour, 159.148. 3 boats have tested. Vilwalk at 163, Peabody at 160, Bernard at 159.
Here he comes.
Is the 1.60 coming up?
It's coming right now. We mentioned that only 2 boats tested at both Vancouver and in the Tri-Cities. This boat only tested in Vancouver. It was the first boat out on the Columbia River, and they put on a show for the fans. Jeff Bernard puts a hot one in the books. I predicted 160. We'll find out. It's being written down right now. It's not, but it's coming.
Thought he got off the throttle just a touch going into turn number 1, but Brad, that looks like some good skid fin water through turn number 1 as we await a time here for Bernard's third hot lap in testing, and 159.679 miles per hour, 159.679, just a skosh under 160.
I like that word, a skosh. Now here comes J. Michael Kelly across start-finish line, and as you were talking about, he is yielding to his good friend, Jeff Bernard. He's running way on the outside course markers, but there is the Miss Tri-Cities. J. Michael Kelly, your defending champion here, Jeff. The boat likes this water. Jeff, J. Michael Kelly, really likes this race course.
Bernard, another hot lap. We'll get a time here for him. You can tell Jeff slows this time entering turn number 1. He saw J. Michael Kelly in front of him and thought, might be best to get off the throttle, the Goodman Real Estate. You can't win the Gold Cup in testing on Friday. That comes at 5 o'clock Central Time on Sunday.
Oh, my goodness.
159.988 miles per hour, 159.988. A minuscule under 160.
Can you get any closer and not be there? And Jeff heads it back to the pit area, but either way, they've got to be very, very happy with their speeds and how the boat ran. Now, here is our defending champion on the Lake Guntersville South's fastest waters, walking to sponsons, J. Michael Kelly. He's got a lot of air under the boat, Jeff. He's really flying it.
J. Michael, 43 years of age, a Finnish carpenter out in the Pacific Northwest in Washington State, married to his wife, Angela, sons Brennan, Carson, and Asher. And Brad, the boat tested in Vancouver and Tri-Cities. I don't think up to their standards. This testing session here is very important. First lap, and he was well away from the pins at 149.036.
Yeah, and you know, there was some dry land boat racing going on over there at that test session, because I talked to Mike after he ran his laps in Tri-Cities, and it was a great improvement over some difficulties that they had in Vancouver. But both J. Michael Kelly and owner Darrell Strong says, we didn't bring our 3 good engines. We know what they'll do. They were talking about 3 other engines. So, in other words, they thought they were just fine. But now it's time to show it, and we're going to find out.
Here in the boat out, trying to find some speed. You saw walking back and forth here on the front straightaway into turn number 1. Brad, I thought the key last year for J. Michael here winning the Southern Cup had a dynamite start in the 3rd section and a beautiful start in the final heat. That was key to victory.
Absolutely it was, and that start in the 3rd heat was even better than his start in the final. And I remember talking to him about it, and he said, yeah, I think I need to keep those timing marks because they really worked. I think his first lap was 1:49, Jeff. He jumped it up a little bit to 1:51.819. We'll see if he puts a little quicker one down this time.
Working through turn number 2, and Brad this time doesn't seem to be getting through there quite as nice as the last time around. You can kind of see the erratic boat ride. I think they're working on getting a little bit of air under it. Might be a different propeller they're trying. Might not be working too well with his hull as he flies across the start-finish line buoy. J. Michael Kelly.
We know you're hovering over that button, but we need your help. We have a better button, we promise. Right on time.
In the U8 Miss Tri-Cities, J. Michael was your driver's champion last year in the H1 Unlimited Series, and Brad, he got the bookend wins in Guntersville and San Diego.
Yeah, he sure did. And our fans that are watching this on the H1 Unlimited YouTube channel, when he comes down to start-finish line here and across that line, what Jeff's talking about there, the boat is walking back and forth between the sponsons, and it's not getting a stable attitude. It's not a stable boat ride, and as you can see him going up the backstretch, you can see that left sponson going up and coming down and splashing on the water. I'm sure they'll get that all straightened out. That's why these test sessions are so important, Jeff.
Works off turn number 2, and Brad, we usually don't see this early on. Could it be a situation where they come right out of the box, maybe looking at a racing setup from past data from last year?
Could very well be. You never know quite what they're doing. And I think we're going to get a black flag now for J. Michael Kelly. I think they're going to send him back to the pit area. See if Mike gets radioed that it's time to head back, and I think that's what he's going to do. He is slowing down. So J. Michael Kelly, our defending champion here on Lake Guntersville, will take his beautiful U8 Speedster along the causeway and back over to a very, very crowded pit area. J. Michael Kelly, driver of the U8. Fast lap he had in that group was 153.764, 153.764. And for a moment, Jeff Ayler, it goes quiet here, but I don't think it's going to be quiet for very long. We are noticing, I don't know if you've paid attention, Jeff, but behind us, we've had some of our Grand Prix personnel show up here behind us in the form of radio personnel, etc. And that usually means we're going to get some GPs out on the water, and I'm told now we've got 3 of them in the water that are ready to go. So if you like noise, Jeff, and I know you do, you get that crank 'em up thing going on here, because here comes some Grand Prix America hydroplanes.
A welcome addition back to Guntersville, the Grand Prix America Hydroplane Series presented by Knighton Industries. And Brad, you and I both know it's the second largest hydroplane class in the world. The GPA boats, 24-foot length, 12-foot width, all powered by a 468 cubic inch supercharged engine, generates 1,400 horsepower. Racing trim with the driver inside is 2,700 pounds. And Brad, they will run the shorter track along with our E350s, the Pro Lights with their sponsor Phenom Digital. So we'll see the GPAs out here in just a matter of moments in testing only. And Brad, their course inside the bigger course is 1 mile and 2/3.
We are inside 6 minutes to the start of our American Dumpster H1 Unlimited Heat 1A. We are going to have 4 H1 Unlimited hydroplanes coming out onto the race course here for our Heat 1A. The field will look like this. The U91, the black and gold, Miss Goodman Real Estate. Goodman Real Estate will be driven by Jeff Bernard. He'll be joined by a good friend of his, J. Michael Kelly. He is our defending Lake Guntersville champion. He'll be driving the silver and bright orange Miss Tri-Cities, the U8. He's also going to have teammate Corey Peabody driving the U9, the other silver boat, the Lynx Healthcare. That's Corey Peabody in the 9. And rounding out the field, Jeff Ayler, this one should be fun. A lot of orange on the U40, the Beacon Plumbing, Dave Villwalk. So it's Bernard, J. Michael, Corey Peabody, and Dave Villwalk. This could be fun.
It's going to be fun. Great way to kick off the 2022 H1 Unlimited Hydroplane season, and better yet, it's for the APBA Gold Cup, the 112th running, the oldest active motorsports trophy in the world.
In the world, that's it, and it's standing right behind us. And good news, we've got 4 boats set to answer the bell. I count 1, 2, 3, 4 rooster tails coming across. And I can tell you right now, the Beacon Plumbing and Dave Villwalk, they've already had a better day here on day 1 than they had a year ago. They had a very difficult time answering the bell, but they are here. Jeff, we are going to go 3 times around this 2.5-mile oval. We're looking at the clock. We're coming up on 4 minutes and 10 seconds until the start. Again, it's the 91 black and gold. It's the U8 silver and orange. It's the U9 dominant silver and the U40 pretty much all orange. And Dave Villwalk is the first boat coming across start finish. Predominantly orange trimmed in black, U40 Beacon Plumbing.
Unlike our first 2 heats for our fans along the shoreline, it was assigned lanes, clock start. Now the big guys fight for lanes, clock start. The milling period is very important to position yourself to get to these start-finish line buoys when the clock strikes 0. Brad, if you jump the gun in H1 Unlimited, that is a 1-lap penalty. Boy, Villwalk in the milling period right now is by himself. The other 3 drivers seem to be keen on each other.
Yeah, the other 3 drivers down there at the bottom of the race course, nobody can really move. See if J. Michael Kelly on the inside doesn't make a left-hand turn here somewhere. Now he's going to put his foot in it, and J. Mike's going to pull ahead, but see if he doesn't make a left-hand turn at the top and maybe come across the race course and get away from those other 2 guys.
And also, too, the 2 silver boats are teammates, J. Michael Kelly and the Miss Tri-Cities, Corey Peabody, and Lynx Healthcare. Now, Bernard is pulled away from him, so Brad, would the teammate drivers try to key on each other and decide how to get to this start-finish line buoy at full tilt at 0?
Yeah, we're never going to know exactly what they're thinking right now, and the 2 teammates are very close together up there. The 2 silver boats, the boat on the outside, look at Dave Villwalk across the course at 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Now he's out in front of the field talking about the 2 boats that are behind everybody, the 2 silver boats. On the outside is the U9, that's Corey Peabody, the Lynx Healthcare inside, and coming on hard is the U9, or the U8, the Miss Tri-Cities. The difference, and you can see it right there, is the orange on the fairings, the vertical uprights on the U8. They are silver on the U9. Boats are down to the lower end of the race course, and we're cutting the race course again. Dave went all the way down, but we had 2 cutters that are going to get in front of him right now.
Boy, both Bernard and Kelly cut through the GP Pro Light course, and now Bernard, 2 minutes. 2 minutes until American Dumpster Unlimited 1A here at the 2022 Lake Guntersville Hydro Fest. It's the APBA Gold Cup for the H1.
Here comes Dave!
Cutting through.
Here comes Dave cutting through. Sorry to jump on you there, but that's a big move, and I think his timing is okay. I have some unofficial marks on this race course. We'll leave that to the professionals, but I think Dave is all right. He wants to be down at that lower corner at some point after 1:30, and right now he's at 1:25.
So Villwalk, Brad, I think he will go clear down to turn number 1. Peabody's in a position he'll have to do the same. Now Kelly, what's his position? Will he cut? Will he go down? Bernard has a wonderful opportunity to cut.
There he goes. J. Michael Kelly is going to cut the course. Is he too early? Now Vilwalk's going to come off the corner down there and see a rooster tail in front of him. His spotter will say that is J. Michael Kelly. Now looking at the watch, we're inside 1 minute, but J. Michael Kelly out front cannot drop below 80 miles an hour. This is where that rule comes into play. We'll watch him up the backstretch. The Miss Tri-Cities, the U8 is on the inside. He is out front. The Beacon Plumbing with Dave Vilwalk is in second place. Then it is Corey Peabody driving the U9, the Lynx Healthcare, and trailing the field and coming up strong with a lot of boat speed, Jeff Bernard in the 91, the Goodman Real Estate. Top end of the race course, 30 seconds until our start. Come on, Jeff. Oh, he'll pick it up. He may come with an awful lot of boat speed. Now, Jeff Ayler was talking about 16, 15, 13 seconds off that pin. We are at 17 seconds right now. It's getting about time to put your foot on the gas. This is going to be close. Jeff, bring him to the line. The first heat of Unlimiteds.
Guntersville, buckle up. We're 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark, we're racing American Dumpster Unlimited Heat 1A. Corey Peabody leads them across the line in the Lynx Healthcare in lane number 3. We look to our right, Peabody there first. Peabody, your leader. Vilwalk is there in second. Peabody, Vilwalk, side by side off the turn.
Just like that, we're coming out with side-by-side racing here in Heat 1A, and it is Corey Peabody. Lynx Healthcare got him by a boat length, maybe a boat length and a half. Vilwalk's not going to go away. J. Michael Kelly in the Miss Tri-Cities is in third, and then it's Bernard knocking on the door, and the Goodman Real Estate in fourth. Top end of the race course. We've got to leave room in there for Dave Vilwalk. Although Dave Vilwalk has control of the course, there's Corey Peabody. Jeff off the top end of the race course. Great racing here in our Heat 1A.
Beautiful deck-to-deck dueling American Dumpster Unlimited 1A. Vilwalk on the inside at 68 years of age, driving like a 28-year-old. Your official leader after lap number 1 is Corey Peabody. Lynx Healthcare, Vilwalk in second, Beacon Plumbing, deck-to-deck racing for third. Kelly to the inside, Bernard to the outside. Back into turn number 1 to begin the H1 season. Vilwalk at 68 years of age is in front, but Peabody is there.
Peabody is right there as they come off the exit pin. Now we talk about that acceleration off that pin, and Dave seems to have it. Looks like one boat. Trust me, Corey is right there. He's knocking on the door right with him. We've got another deck-to-deck duel going on up the backstretch. Jeff Bernard's got about 2 boat lengths on J. Michael Kelly driving out of Tri-Cities. The Goodman Real Estate is out front by 2 boat lengths, but top end of the race course, Beacon Plumbing, the 68-year-old superstar Dave Vilwalk slides out to about lane number 3. Still got Corey sitting right on his hip, Jeff.
Little hip check by Dave Vilwalk. Look legal from our vantage point. We will come down to get the white flag. Hopefully, yes, white flag is displayed. 2 complete, 1 to go, and now Vilwalk extends it out. Oh, and Peabody flew the Lynx Healthcare back in second. Now J. Michael Kelly has moved into third, and Miss Tri-Cities, Jeff Bernard fourth, and Miss Goodman Real Estate, Brad off the turn. Can Vilwalk hang on to get 400 points?
It looks like he may be able to do it. He's got about a full rooster tail, but Corey doesn't want to go away. Beacon Plumbing U40. Dave Vilwalk showing the dominance of that bright orange boat with the black trim and the dominance and the importance of the inside lane. Corey still hanging right with him, but it's about a rooster tail difference. This race for third is not over. Miss Tri-Cities with J. Michael Kelly and the Goodman Real Estate with Jeff Bernard got their own duel going. Now Dave Vilwalk has opened up more water on Corey Peabody. I think Corey lets him go. Checkered flag should fly. Jeff, bring him home.
68 years of age, 67 career wins, 10 gold cups. The checkered flag is out. Dave Vilwalk is your winner of American Dumpster Unlimited 1A here at Lake Guntersville. Second place will go to Corey Peabody and the U9 Lynx Healthcare. J. Michael Kelly fought and battled for that third place position, gained superiority halfway through it. Third place to J. Michael Kelly in U8 Miss Tri-Cities. Jeff Bernard, I'm sure he'll be disappointed, Brad. Not the best start that Jeff Bernard could have got, but they did score and will get 169 points in fourth. In last year's Gold Cup winning Hull, the Miss Goodman Real Estate. Guntersville, the Gold Cup is underway. What you think?
Oh, we got maybe
we might have a development.
We got some rumblings going on here on the radio, but on the water, it was spectacular racing in our American Dumpster Unlimited Heat 1A. Dave Vilwalk was able to hold off Corey Peabody, Dave Villwalk in the Beacon Plumbing. Corey Peabody was driving right on his outside hip in the Lynx Healthcare. That was boat number 9, JMK. J. Michael Kelly, our defending champion, driving the Miss Tri-Cities, and Jeff Bernard came home in 4th. And Jeff Ayler, I actually thought Jeff Bernard in the Goodman Real Estate, he actually got around J. Michael Kelly at one point, but Kelly was able to get things squared away and able to take that inside lane, get by, and pick up 300 points, or excuse me, 3rd place points.
Great way to start off our Gold Cup, and Brad, we will opens it up, get a sound of that thunder here along the shore.
Are in the process of verifying whether or not we have a new course record here that was set by Villwalk. They're looking at some tape, and either way, whether he did or not, he was running really fast outside of Dave Villwalk.
And Brad, while you stepped away, they're rechecking, but right now it appears he was just a touch short of that, but they will go back and recalculate and retime to see if that record was set as we're approaching the 5-minute period. And the first miscue of Gold Cup weekend 2022 goes to Corey Peabody in the Lynx Healthcare. Could have had 300 points. Penalty takes him down to 169. But, Brad, you're right. They did score. They would rather have the 300, but they'll take what they got.
We got boats on the water. Jimmy Shane is away from the dock, and the U1, the Miss Home Street. We've got him on our monitor here, and we can look across and see him. Here comes Jamie Nielsen right behind him. So we've got 2 of our 3 boats coming out across the lake from the pit area. Let's go racing again. It is our H1 Unlimited Heat 1B presented by American Dumpster. And we got 3 boats. It's always fun. Let's do it again, Jeff.
Should be fun. And, Brad, this will be the first time for our fans here at Lake Guntersville. The turbocharged Allison racer leaving the dock, Jimmy Shane, the last piston-powered boat in the sport, will make an appearance in 1B.
Yep, and they are away from the dock. We've got all 3 boats up and running away, so that's a good thing. It'll be the U11, the Miss Colleen, Jamie Nielsen, the U1, the Miss Home Street, Jimmy Shane, and our 3rd place finisher, our 3rd boat in the heat, the Griggs Presents Miss Ace Hardware, Jimmy King, the U3, the Turbinator, first boat across the start-finish line here. Can't miss that one, Jeff, powder blue and white. It is the Miss Home Street. Turned some mighty quick laps yesterday, but that was yesterday, and he didn't get any points for that. We need points now. He'd love to see 400 points and get a good start on that national high points race. You did talk about Corey Peabody, and I know you don't have a microphone, so this is great. I can ask you all kinds of questions you can't answer. We're getting some new batteries in Jeff's equipment here. But I think these guys as racers will tell you that if you're going to have a bad heat in the Gold Cup, make it the first one, don't make it the last one.
You do want it in the first one, but you hate to start that way, but it is better the first heat and then figure out how the sequence will go in 2, 3, and 4.
And I'm sure if you talked to Corey Peabody last year, here comes the Terminator across start-finish line with 3 minutes. Coming up on 3 minutes until the start, looking good. Griggs Presents Ace Hardware, and there was some question, Jeff, about that when they were out and ran earlier this morning. The boat went down in the water and had to receive a tow back to the pit area. Apparently it was nothing terribly major, or at least anything that has been reported. The boat is back out on the water looking good.
Important 3-boat heat coming up here in American Dumpster. Unlimited 1B, approaching the 2-minute and 30-second mark. Brad, definitely on paper, the Home Street Blue and White, the favorite with Jimmy Shane, but you don't run them on paper, you run them on the water. Now this battle here between these 2 boats for 300 points could be very exciting depending on how the lanes shake up and sort out. So Jamie Nielsen up in turn number 2 first in the Miss Colleen, followed by Jimmy King and the Griggs Presents Miss Ace Hardware as we're approaching the 2-minute mark. And right now, Brad, Jimmy Shane, I think everybody's in ideal positioning.
I was waiting. I was keeping an eye on Jimmy to see if he didn't come across, and here he comes, and he's going to park that thing in 1 if he wants it. It's early in the weekend, as we say all the time, Jeff. You can't win the Gold Cup in the first heat of the day, but you can sure as heck lose it. Don't do anything silly. Get your points. You do not want to be down at the entrance pin to that lower corner. This is my unofficial timing at 1:30. We're at 1:33 right now, so I think all of them are in pretty good shape.
Investment opportunities are everywhere you turn. But at T. Rowe Price, we're letting curiosity light the way, asking.
And it looks like Jamie Nielsen is on the inside of Jimmy King and the piston-powered Turbinator.
And Brad, I thought all 3 would go down, so Shane will lead them down into turn number 1, followed by Nielsen and King in the piston-powered Griggs Presents Miss Ace Hardware. Approaching the 1-minute period for American Dumpster Unlimited Heat 1B. Brad Luce, 1 minute has come. It's expired. We're under 1 minute. Set these lanes for 1B.
Well, coming out of the corner there and up the back chute with, as you say, inside of 1 minute. We're at 50 seconds in lane 1 on the inside. That's the powder blue and white, the Miss Home Street, driven by Jimmy Shane. Then it looks like it'll be Jamie Nielsen in lane 2, driving the chartreuse and royal blue, Miss Colleen. And then on the outside, it's the Griggs Presents Miss Ace Hardware. This could be a dandy start. The boats are starting to score up very well. Looking at the watch, inside 30 seconds. I'll take them to the exit pin, Jeff, then you bring them down. Nielsen starts to accelerate on the outside. He's bringing King with him. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Now they're going to fan out and come down. 16 seconds on my watch, Jeff. Looks good. Bring them down.
I think they'll be fine. Shane in 1, Nielsen in 2, King in 3. Guntersville, we are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark, and we're racing in American Dumpster Unlimited 1B. Jimmy King leads them officially across the line in lane number 3 in the Turbinator. We'll look to the inside, and Jimmy Shane takes the lead in Miss Home Street. King in 2nd, Nielsen in 3rd, Brad, Shane in front, King battling in 2nd.
Yeah, King's coming hard in 2nd place, and look at Nielsen in between boats. He's almost dead even with Jimmy King as they come down the backstretch. The start is good. We called again. Look at the speed from Jimmy King in that piston-powered boat. He's actually moving away from Nielsen in 2nd place. He's got his sights on that blue boat. That is a tall order, but the 3 of them are all at the top end of the race course together. Oh, and Nielsen got wet in there a little bit. He dropped back, but it's Shane coming off the corner with the lead, Jeff.
Jimmy Shane, your leader. You won Miss Home Street, making a rooster tail and a half over the Turbinator. Lap number 1 complete, 2 to go. Miss Home Street comfortably in front. But here's that thunder of the Griggs Presents Miss Ace Hardware in 2nd. Jamie Nielsen 3rd, Miss Colleen. All 3 approaching turn number 1. Jimmy Shane remaining on the buoy row in Miss Home Street. King continues to chase, and Brady's cut into the deficit some, exiting the turn.
Yeah, he really has. He's into the rooster tail there. Keep an eye on Nielsen. He's not out of this yet because he's on that inside track. Jimmy King with the Turbinator, trying to run down Jimmy Shane up the backstretch. Halfway up there, he's in the rooster tail. It is Jimmy Shane driving a Home Street. Then it is Jimmy King in the Griggs Presents the Ace Hardware. They're at the top end of the course, entrance pin at the top end. This is lap number 2. They will come down and pick up the white flag with 1 to go. I'll tell you what, Jeff Ayler, King is not going away.
Shane's lead is evaporating. The Turbinator has come to play at the Gold Cup. We will receive the white flag. And now it's down to a full rooster tail. White flag displayed here in American Dumpster Unlimited 1B. And now Jimmy Shane's lead is down to 10 boat lengths. Jimmy King still chasing in 2nd. And Griggs Presents Miss Ace Hardware. Jamie Nielsen remains in 3rd, and Miss Colleen in turn number 1. Shane shorter way around on the buoy rows, and here comes the Turbinator.
Jimmy King does not want to let him go. This is the white flag lap. That means the checkers are waiting for him. Jimmy Shane has got a right side rear view mirror that is full of red piston power. It's the home street with the lead up the back stretch. Griggs Ace Hardware, second place. He's only about 5, maybe 6 boat lengths back. This is going to be a charge. If King's got anything left, he might surprise Jimmy Shane. I think he surprised all of us with the boat speed he's showing. Top end of the race course. They're going to come off the corner and run down for the checkered flag. Where's Jimmy? There he is. He's right there on the outside. Jeff, bring him down.
All right, Guntersville, does the Turbinator have it? Time running out. Jimmy Shane sees the checkered flag waving. Jimmy Shane wins it. Unlimited 1B, brought to you by American Dumpster. Jimmy King was second in the Griggs Presents Miss Ace Hardware, and Jamie Nielsen will come across the start-finish line buoy in the third position in Miss Colleen. Brad, our knowledgeable fans here in Guntersville, I think they've got a new boat. They like the Turbinator.
Yes, Guntersville, what do you think of piston power? He can make that thing roll. That was some kind of fun. Oh, my God. Can we just fuel them up and run them again?
As the heat went on, could you hear the crowd noise?
Yeah.
It was getting louder and louder and louder, rooting on that World War II aircraft engine. They like that big red boat.
I think they do, and I thought at first maybe they were cheering Jimmy Shane and that U1 Home Street, and there's a lot of fans here for that Home Street hydroplane, but you're correct. They were building momentum in that red Turbinator. Oh, Charlie Grigg up in the Tri-Cities of Washington, sitting on the Columbia River over there at the Richland Regatta. Your boat you're sponsored is running like a rocket, and thank
Rooster Tail rises from the pit area. We are 5 minutes and 15 seconds away from Marshall County Tourism and Sports Unlimited Heat 2A. Brad Luce, it's a 4-boat 2A. Let's check our lineup.
First boat of the 4 that is going to answer the bell in Heat 2A, presented by Marshall County Tourism and Sports. The U8, the Miss Tri-Cities, driven by defending Guntersville champion J. Michael Kelly. Going to be joined out there by the red Turbinator. Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware. That's the U3, Jimmy King behind the wheel. Then he's going to get joined by the U91. That's the black and gold Goodman Real Estate. Jeff Bernard handles the driving chores in that one. And if that wasn't enough for you, how about the U40, the orange and black Beacon Plumbing, Dave Vilwalk. Jeff Ayler, we got the 8, the 3, the 91, and the 40, or if you like it this way, Kelly, King, Bernard, Vilwalk.
Should be a good lineup here in Marshall County Tourism and Sports. Unlimited 2A, Vilwalk entering turn number 1. Jeff Bernard in the gold and black Miss Goodman Real Estate. The silver boat with the fluorescent orange to the back on the wing, that's the Miss Tri-Cities. And Brad, the boat entering turn number 2 is the turbocharged Allison. Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware with Jimmy King, otherwise known as the Turbinator.
When the boats went down to the lower end of the race course last time, our leader going down there was the 40 and Dave Vilwalk. When he got to the exit pin and looked ahead of him, he saw a rooster tail. That would have been Jeff Bernard, who cut race course at the lower end. That's Bernard up there at the entrance bin. Oh, and Dave says, I'll just return the favor. Thank you very much. Here comes Dave Villwalk coming across the race course in what has become over the years a signature move for the young man who's got more wins than anybody in H1 Unlimited Racing.
67 career wins for Dave Villwalk, 10 APBA Gold Cups, looking for number 11 tomorrow afternoon to tie Chip Hanauer. So Jimmy King in turn one. Villwalk cuts through the infield once again. Brad, will Kelly follow?
He's going to go all the way down. J. Mike is going to go all the way down to the lower end of the race course. Looks like Bernard is going to cut the course. He's going to go front to back, head over to the backside. So now the last boat going up the backstretch there is J. Michael Kelly. First up the backstretch is Beacon Plumbing. That is Dave Villwalk. Behind him, the Turbinator, the Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware. And this is vintage Villwalk. That is 3 times in a row he has cut the race course. The second boat now going up the backstretch and cutting the race course again. Jeff Bernard and Kelly is the only boat left on the backstretch right now. So there's a lot of games being played right now. You don't want to show your best start procedure this early in the weekend, but these guys are doing some maneuvering.
2:20 until the start, 2:20. Villwalk elected to go down into turn number 1. Now Bernard cuts through the infield, turn number 1 of the smaller course. Here's the Turbinator. Jimmy King right here in front of us, about 500 feet to the start-finish line buoy, and behind him is J. Michael Kelly. Brad, 2 minutes. This 5-minute warm-up period seems like it's taken forever. There are still games to decide and lanes to decide.
Yeah, there's lanes to decide. Look at J. Michael Kelly. He's turning hard left, hard right, hard left, hard right. He's trying to scruff off time. He wants to go all the way down to the bottom end of the race course. That's what he's going to do. And we're looking at a clock. Oh, he's early, Jeff. He is early, 1:40 until the start. Now, here comes the rest of the crew behind him. Dave comes smoking down here. Dave's going to go down there behind Kelly. Kelly, remember, has got to stay over 80 miles an hour. He's going to go way wide down there. Now, as you said, keep an eye on Jeff Bernard. Jeff, is it possible he cuts the race course here?
It's going to be tight.
I don't know. He's not. He's going to go all the way. King might.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local recordings are now available on
King might cut the course here. He might be in pretty good position to do it, but he's not going to. He too is going to go all the way down.
Think it's going to be an erratic start, Brad. We'll see how this gamesmanship plays out. Kelly, no doubt, early.
Yeah, Kelly's very early. Still got 52 seconds, and he's already past the halfway mark of the backstretch. Sometimes, Jeff Ayler, you can overpay for that inside lane, and it can cost you dearly. Look at King on the outside. We've seen him do this many times before. Bring a ton of boat speed and come up hard behind everybody. Those 2 boats trailing the field, I think they're in pretty good shape. 30 seconds until our start. Kelly, I think, is going to be in lane 1 unless he goes wide to scruff off speed. Then it's going to be Dave Villwalk up there. Then our other 2 boats are going to get up there, the Turbinator and Jeff Bernard. They're coming off the clock. 15 seconds, Jeff. Bring him down.
Thank you, Brad. Kelly, no doubt, early on the clock, and Villwalk coming by him. We are now 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark, it appears to be a clean start. We're racing in Marshall County Tourism and Sports. Unlimited 2A. The boats to the outside had the best start, but we'll see who has the best real estate to the inside in turn number 1. Getting there first, that's Jeff Bernard, your leader. Villwalk in second, Kelly in third, and it's a triple-decker.
Oh, boy, coming off the backstretch, it's Bernard on the outside. It is Dave Villwalk in the Beacon Plumbing. He is on the inside of Bernard. Giving ground is J. Michael Kelly in lane 1. This is going to be a race out front between the 2 leaders, Jeff Bernard and the Goodman Real Estate. Here comes Super Dave. Super Dave is closed up on him as they get to the entrance pin of the corner. He's on the inside. Bernard's going to try and keep the speed up on him. There you see. Now he can hold Dave in tight. Gonna get real close up there, but plenty of lane space. And the Turbinator is in this mix as well, Jeff.
Beautiful dueling here, side by side. A possible 1-lap penalty will clarify through the race, but physically, Dave Villwalk leads it by 3 boat lengths over Jeff Bernard and Goodman Real Estate. Jimmy King in third. Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware. J. Michael Kelly trails at the top 2 in turn number 1, working lap number 2. Vilwalk on the inside. Bernard is there. Brad, the 68-year-old, driving like a 28-year-old in front.
And he's got a youngster behind him on the outside. His rearview mirrors are full of black and gold of Jeff Bernard and the Goodman Real Estate. Now, all of a sudden, J. Michael Kelly is starting to make some noise in fourth place. He's got his eyes set on Jimmy King. He's running in some sloppy water back there, Jeff, but he is on the inside of the Turbinator. We'll keep an eye on that one. Have you got word of a possible penalty?
Getting word on a possible infraction. We'll go ahead with the physical run. We'll watch the flags. Marshall County Tourism and Sports Unlimited 2A. White flag is displayed for Dave Vilwalk. He'll accept it in the Miss Beacon Plumbing, walking it side to side. A Rooster Tail advantage over Jeff Bernard in second in Miss Goodman Real Estate. Jimmy King in third, and Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware, but Brad, J. Michael Kelly sneaking up the inside wake of the Turbinator. Vilwalk in front, the race is for third.
Down at the lower end of the race course, we'll keep an eye on that race back there for third. Where did Kelly go? Kelly went outside, and Kelly is down. J. Michael Kelly in the Miss Tri-Cities is down at the lower end of the race course. Now our boats are spread out. Dave Vilwalk in the U40, the Beacon Plumbing. He is up the backstretch physically on the water. It is our leader. We're going to keep an ear to the official radio here. What do you got, Jeff?
We're going to have possibility of two boats with a one-lap penalty. Brad will watch the flags. Fans along the shoreline, stand with us. Fans at home watching, stand with us. White flag is displayed. White flag. Dave Vilwalk has been issued a one-lap penalty in the Beacon Plumbing. Here's your winner of the Marshall County Tourism and Sports Unlimited 2A, Jeff Bernard. And I think we got a one-lap penalty on the Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware. So J. Michael Kelly will get second in the Miss Tri-Cities, a violation that we've not been told of, but one-lap penalties on Vilwalk and King.
Yeah, the two of them are still running hard on an extra lap. We're being told that is a possible penalty, and what the officials are doing now, as J. Michael Kelly comes across, they gave J. Mike the white flag. Not quite sure on that one. We haven't heard anything about that, but at the top end of the race course, Dave Vilwalk, what the officials are doing here is they are allowing them to run an extra lap in case they prove that there is an infraction. What do you got, Jeff?
For our fans along the shoreline and listening and watching at home, we went by the flags. We're being told possible one-lap penalties. Six minutes until the start. Marshall County Tourism and Sports Unlimited Heat 2B will be a three-boat H1 Unlimited heat race for the 2022 APBA Gold Cup.
Taylor, our boats are starting to come away from the dock. We've got movement on the U9. Lynx Healthcare, Corey Peabody behind the wheel. We got movement on the U1. That is the Miss Home Street, driven by Jimmy Shane. And as I say all of that, the Miss Colleen with Jamie Nielsen is away from the dock. I think we're going to get all our boats to answer the bell. 5 minutes and 15 seconds to our start. Normally, at a race venue, Jeff Baylor, we don't allow the boats to come out on the water until the 5-minute mark. And that's not you and me don't allow them out, but the officials don't allow the boats on the water until the 5-minute mark. They let them come out at the 6-minute mark just because the pit area is so far across the lake.
Unique setup with that pit area about 1 3/4 mile away from the start-finish line here, as some of our boats are well, actually all three have left the pit dock. We are coming up on 4 minutes and 40 seconds until the start. Brad Luce, let's ID the participants coming up here in Marshall County Tourism and Sports Unlimited 2B.
Let's start with the U11, the Miss Colleen, boat owned by Scott and Shannon Rainey out of Cle Elum, Washington. That's in the central part of the state. It is driven by Jamie Nielsen. Joining him out on the race course for this particular heat will be the boat owned by the city of Madison, Indiana. It is the U1, the Miss Home Street. Jimmy Shane will handle the driving duties. He's had a good weekend so far, picked up 400 points in his first heat. And right behind him is the U9, the Lynx Healthcare, driven by Corey Peabody. They've looked very good this weekend. There's a sleeper floating around this place. It's that Lynx Healthcare and Corey Peabody. Quick word about Lynx Healthcare, a brand new sponsor on the H1 Unlimited Tour. They have climbed on board with Daryl and Vanessa Strong and the Strong Racing Stable. We welcome Lynx Healthcare to H1 Unlimited Racing. Jeff Ayler, 3 minutes and 30 seconds, 3:30.
Thank you, Brad. Marshall County Tourism and Sports. Unlimited 2B, Jamie Nielsen by the start-finish line buoy. And Miss Colleen cutting through. Corey Peabody, Lynx Healthcare. Jimmy Shane electing to go on up into turn number 2. In the U1, Miss Home Street, campaigned by Miss Madison Racing. So, Brad, it's our final heat of the afternoon. We're 3 minutes. 3 minutes until the start. Strategy, Shane again with the blind draw. Comes out perfect here for him and the Miss Madison team. And 2B, they drew another good one. But we'll see who wants those second place points. But Shane could get a challenge from Peabody in Lynx Healthcare if Corey could get on the inside of this boat right here at the start-finish line buoy.
I think that's the case. If Corey Peabody can get the U9 Lynx Healthcare on the inside of Jimmy Shane, he could cause some problems for Mr. Shane. Trust me, it's not just that he needs to be inside Jimmy Shane. If anybody's on the outside of Jimmy Shane, you're going to have your hands full trying to drive around him. That boat just is that fast. Coming up on 2:10 until the start, but I've really liked the U9 Lynx Healthcare. So far, the past 2 days, the boat's run real well. Corey Peabody, he's a good shoe. He knows how to handle things. And we talked about it earlier, Jeff. Don't forget Jamie Nielsen. You open the door, he's going to put that chartreuse in royal blue, Miss Colleen, in lane 1.
He likes lane 1. That's where he's at right now in the milling period, the start sequence.
They're early, Jeff. They're early again. We're looking at 140 to get down there. I think they'll be okay. But if Nielsen wants lane 1, he's going to have to keep it under, or keep it over 80 miles an hour, and he's at the entrance pin to the corner about now, 125. That's going to be close.
So we are 1 minute 20 seconds away from Marshall County Tourism and Sports. Unlimited Heat 2B, Jamie Nielsen, the first boat in turn number 1, and Miss Colleen, followed by Corey Peabody in Lynx Healthcare. And right now in the sequence, it looks like Jimmy Shane will have to go to lane number 3 in the Miss Home Street. The 1 minute gun has come and gone, 55 seconds away. Brad Luce set these lanes. They need to be established prior to the entrance pin of turn 2.
Yeah, and the way they're going up the backstretch right now, Jamie Nielsen, we said if he had the opportunity, he's not afraid and not shy to stick that chartreuse and royal blue Miss Colleen in that inside lane. That's where he is. Then following up behind him is Corey Peabody driving the Lynx Healthcare, the U9. Watch for Jimmy Shane to light up the home street and come wide with just a whole bunch of boat speed. Looking at the watch, we've still got 22 seconds to kill. Jamie Nielsen is just about to the exit pin. He's going to stay on that inside lane. We're inside 15 seconds. Jeff, bring him down.
By the timing marks, this looks good coming to the line. We are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. We're racing at Marshall County Tourism and Sports. Unlimited Heat 2B, Jamie Nielsen was there first in the Miss Colleen. 3 unlimited hydroplanes in the turn. The start is under review. It will involve the 11. Jamie Nielsen, your leader off the corner, but Brad Peabody and Shane is hidden.
Boy, Peabody and Shane are on the outside. There goes Jimmy Shane on the outside. You on the home straight. Look at the powder blue rocket. And look at Corey Peabody. Corey Peabody also gets past Jamie Nielsen. Now, Corey Peabody is on the inside of Jimmy Shane. That may be our boat race. Top end of the race course, Shane got got to leave 2 lanes open in there. I'm sure he'll drive him clean. This is where Peabody can make up some ground. Look how wide Jimmy Shane drove him, staying very, very clean. Jeff, come down about 1 in the book.
Beautiful sight. Turn number 2 on lap number 1. Shane is powered on the outside. 1 complete, 2 to go. Shane leads it in Miss Home Street. Make it a 3/4 Rooster Tail advantage over Corey Peabody in the Lynx Healthcare. Jamie Nielsen in 3rd in the Miss Colleen. We're getting word once again in this heat of a possible 1-lap penalty on a participant. Shane comfortably in front.
He is comfortably in front, but Corey Peabody in the Lynx Healthcare does not want to go. The 11 has jumped the gun. He has also dropped down. He at the lower end of the race course. The 11's out of it. Corey Peabody now looking at a tall order, even though he is on the inside of Jimmy Shane. I don't know that he's going to be able to run him down. Shane is sending a message up and down pit road, Jeff Ayler. I can put this thing on the outside, and you still can't beat me.
Jamie Nielsen has relit the Miss Colleen, running in 3rd. Jimmy Shane looking sharp in Marshall County Tourism and Sports. Unlimited 2B, white flag displayed. 2 in the books and 1 more to go for Shane. Now making a tail and a half in front. And now Corey Peabody. Will he go to the outside wake of Shane? I believe he is. Nielsen remains in 3rd. Final time around for your top 2. Home Street, blue and white in front. That's Jimmy Shane.
Jimmy Shane comes off the lower corner, got about 3/4 of a lap to go, and he will pick up another checkered flag, his 2nd one on the day. If I can quote my good friend Jeff Ayler, I think shouting's over in this one. I think Corey Peabody in the Lynx Healthcare will let Jimmy Shane in the Home Street go. Miss Colleen picks up the white flag. They've got 1 more to go. Top end of the race course, suddenly it's a 2 Rooster Tail lead. Jimmy Shane, watch this. He's going to stay wide. He's going to find lots of clean water. Goes out to about lane number 11. He was way out there on this one. Give it up for Jimmy Shane.
Checkered flag is waving. Here's your winner of Marshall County Tourism and Sports Unlimited 2B, Jimmy Shane in Miss Home Street. 2nd place will go to Corey Peabody in the U9 Lynx Healthcare. And Brad, I believe we got another lap and a half to go for Jamie Nielsen in the 3rd spot. In the U11, Miss Colleen, you got a little bit more clarification on the penalty coming up on the U11, Miss Colleen, but these are important points for the 11. They want to score and get those 225 points and see how the draw looks tomorrow. In Unlimited's 3A and 3B. Brad, did you get a clarification?
I did. That was a tough heat for Jamie Nielsen, who's going to come down here, and he's going to pick up the white flag because of that difficult heat. He did jump the start. That adds a lap to what he has to do. Then, I'm not sure exactly where it was. I'm looking at it. I'm not sure exactly where it was, but his 2nd penalty was on the 2nd lap. He missed a buoy in one of the corners, so the boat must have hooked inside. Turn 1, he missed a buoy down there on lap 2. So tough race for Jamie Nielsen, but he can pick up his points.
So only one lap penalty on the gun jump, as we already see the checkered flag being held high. So Jamie Nielsen approximately a half a lap away from getting those 225 points. And Brad, I think we'll get another white, so it looks like he'll have to go around 5 times to get those 225 points in 3rd.
Well, we've got vintage boats here, and that's the way we used to do it back in the day. You have to run a whole bunch of lap 5, sometimes 6, and I hate to tell you this, Jeff, but when I was a kid and we had the Gold Cup in Seattle, ran that 3-mile course, 10 lap heats. It was a 90-mile race for the Gold Cup. Here comes Jamie Nielsen off the top end of the race course.
So white flag is displayed, so 2 one-lap penalties for the Miss Colleen and Marshall County Tourism and Sports. Unlimited 2B, and Jamie accepts the white. Our flagman reaches down for the checkered, so next time around when Jamie Nielsen comes by the start-finish line buoy, that will complete this heat here at Lake Guntersville. So Brad, Jimmy Shane with 2 wins on the weekend. Top boat in testing speed. Miss Home Street looking good in the 22 Gold Cup.
Well, he's looking very good, and I said at one point during the heat, I think Jimmy Shane sent a pretty heavy message up and down pit row. I got a lot of speed if I need it. He was on the outside, and man, he just took off. But wasn't that fun running down the backstretch when Shane went past Nielsen, and all of a sudden Corey came with him right between boats. You had your triple-decker, Jeff.
I like those triple deckers.
Of course you do. All right, Jamie Nielsen, and this is really important for Jamie right here. He's got to come down and pick up these points now. I know you are. Let's take a look at the boats that are going to come out and compete in our Heat 3A. And Jeff, it is day 2 of 2, which means we crown the champion at the end of the day. My understanding is we're going to run 5 boats on the front row. You've got to be one of those top 5 point getters to get on the front row of that final heat. And we've got some boats now that are looking at those points going, I got to get some.
Got to get some, and one that needs some desperately. Actually, 2 boats. Currently 7th in points, Jamie Nielsen with 450, and Miss Colleen. And Corey Peabody, the top qualifier at last year's Southern Cup, currently in the 6th position with 469 points in Lynx Healthcare. Miss Madison Racing right now stands on top of the point standings after 2 sections of the Gold Cup. Jimmy Shane with 800 points in first. His teammate Jeff Bernard in second with 625. Right now, Brad, is we're 5 minutes and 35 seconds until the start. Shane wants to remain clean, not getting any problems, because yesterday he drew both 3-boat heats. This is his first 4-boat heat of the weekend.
You're exactly right. Yes, he wants points. He wants to win because of the national high points race, which is the total points throughout the season. But first and foremost, as you just said, this is the Gold Cup. He wants to win the Gold Cup. He wants to run clean, score points, and he'll be any points, and he'll be in great shape to be on the front row of the final. We got boats on the water as we are now inside 5 minutes to Heat 3A of the H1 Unlimited APBA Gold Cup. Heat 3A is presented by Explore Lake Guntersville, and you should visit exploreLakeGuntersville.com.
Brad Luce, let's ID the participants for our fans along the shoreline, our guests at the Lake Guntersville Hydro Fest.
First boat coming out of front straightaway is that U1, the Miss Home Street, powder blue and white. Jimmy Shane sits behind the wheel, 800 points. Boat is owned by the citizens of Madison, Indiana. Right behind him, Jamie Nielsen, driving the Chartreuse and Royal Blue as he jumps on the screen for those of you watching online. That's the Miss Colleen, the U11, driven by Jamie Nielsen. Seeing who's coming off the top end of the race course now, here comes Corey. This will be Corey Peabody coming across next. You'll see him momentarily there online. He's coming across start-finish line right now. Those of you online, as the camera moves, there's Corey. The U9 Lynx Healthcare. We talked a lot about them yesterday, Jeff. A brand new sponsor in H1 Unlimited Hydroplane. Boy, wouldn't that be something? Get your name on the Gold Cup right out of the box.
Well, it would, and owners Darrell and Vanessa Strong picked up their first unlimited win last year with the other boat in the team, the U8 Miss Tri-Cities.
Yes, they certainly did. They'd love to do it again as Corey's going to cut the course, but looking way across the race course and up the backstretch behind Corey there. You can barely see him. There he is for those of you online. The U91, the Goodman Real Estate, is at the top end of the race course. That is our 4th and final boat. It is driven by Jeff Bernard. It is black and gold. It's beautiful. They've come in here with 625 points. They're number 2 in the standings right now, Jeff. Same thing. Run clean, get some points.
Run clean. We're 3 minutes and 5 seconds from the start. Brad, for our fans along the shoreline, clock start in H1 Unlimited. Your lane is not assigned to you when you leave the pit area. You fight for it. And that's what's taking place right now in the milling period. You have to have your lane established prior to the entrance pin of turn number 2. Prior to the start, then hold your lane, come down to the line. Name of the game, be at these white buoys at full song at 0. If you jump the gun, you're issued a 1-lap penalty. And Brad, that's what these drivers don't want in the Gold Cup, because it's points, points, points to get to the final. at 5 o'clock later today.
Yeah, it certainly is, and look what's going on up the backstretch as you talk about the fact that we fight for lanes. You got 3 boats right there. Corey's sitting on the inside right now. That's Corey Peabody in the Lynx Healthcare sitting just inside Jimmy Shane in the home street. Then on the outside there is the Miss Colleen with Jamie Nielsen. Jeff Bernard follows. Watch Jeff. I'm just going to say, watch Jeff, see if he doesn't cut. And here he comes right on cue. Jeff Bernard in the 91's going to come across and jump in front of those 3. And now the timing's going to get interesting because this may very well be the way they're going to go all the way down to the lower end. Our lanes may be getting determined right about now, Jeff.
And each boat has to stay above 80 miles per hour in the warm-up period that is monitored by GPS for H1 Unlimited. And Brad, the 4-boat field making their way to turn number 1. Bernard leads them down, followed by Peabody with Nielsen and Shane trailing back. Bernard is there first, and right now, Brad, Bernard has the 91 Goodman Real Estate parked on the buoy row, but still lots to decide. We now are 1 minute and 10 seconds until the start. Brad, by your timing marks, how's the field look?
I think the field is in good shape right now, and lane 1 is going to go to Jeff Bernard. Lane 2, at least as it is right now, and I don't expect anything to change. Goodman Real Estate is in 1 with Jeff Bernard. It is the Lynx Healthcare, the U9, Corey Peabody, trailing him up there. That's the silver boat. He is going to be in lane 2. Jimmy Shane in the home street is going to be in lane 3 with Jamie Nielsen on the far outside. Jeff, we are coming up to 40 seconds until our start. Take them through the top end of the race course. We'll bring them down. And now is when that start is absolutely critical. They want to be on the line when that clock strikes 0. We were watching yesterday, maybe a 15, 16, maybe even a 17-second run off that exit pin. We're at 22, and they're approaching. They are. Watch on the outside. No, that's Nielsen there. Watch Jimmy Shane from lane 3 with a hole shot, Jeff.
Bernard is early by our timing marks. 10 seconds away. Explore Lake Guntersville, Heat 3A coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark, we're racing in Explore Lake Guntersville, Heat 3A. Bernard hit the throttle right there at the last second. Leads the field down into turn number 1 and lane number 1. Bernard there first. Shane is actually second in lane number 3. Bernard in front. We got a deck-to-deck battle for second between Peabody and Shane.
Coming off the bottom end of the race course, Jeff Bernard. He was a little bit early on the start, but was able to get on it in enough time so he could get to the lower corner first, and he's holding that lead. It looks like 3 boats up the backstretch. There are 4 in second place. You've got Corey Peabody and Jimmy Shane in the Lynx Healthcare in the home street. Top end of the race course. Bernard running like a rocket, Jeff. He's really flying.
The start was good for H1 Unlimited. And Brad, will we have it? Yes, we have a triple-decker off turn number 2 and Explore Lake Guntersville Heat 3A, side by side by side. And now Jimmy Shane pulls out in lane number 3, takes the lead in Miss Home Street. As we go back into turn number 1, Shane in front on the outside. Shane maintains that lead. Now Lynx Healthcare in second with Corey Peabody. Bernard in third. Brad off the corner. Shane Powers in front.
Shane's out by about 3 boat lengths. It is Jeff Bernard has dropped back behind the 2 leaders. Now Corey gonna try and run down Jimmy Shane on the inside in that silver Lynx Healthcare. This happened yesterday, and Corey was unable to get him. Remember, we said Corey Peabody needs points. He'd love to have 400. 300 will do him just fine, but he also wants to let Jimmy Shane know, I can run you down on the inside. Top end of the race course. Jimmy driving him really clean, Jeff.
Boy, beautiful turn by Corey Peabody on the inside. Exciting Explore Lake Guntersville Unlimited 3A. Shane accepts the white flag in front, making a 5-boat length advantage over Corey Peabody and Lynx Healthcare in second. The race is for first in Unlimited 3A. Your top 2 in turn number 1, Now Shane extends it out, make it 7 boat lengths, but Brad Peabody's still driving strong on the pins.
He really would like to sniff those 400 points and run down Jimmy Shane. I don't know if he's going to be able to get him. He's sitting back by about a rooster tail. Jimmy Shane driving the U1, the Miss Home Street, got a rooster tail on Corey. He's been driving him really clean. And Jeff, you know what we mean by that. When he comes off the top end of the race course, he needs to leave a lane for Corey Peabody up there. He's been giving him plenty of room.
A great day to begin the APBA Gold Cup at Lake Guntersville. Final turn, final lap for the top 2. Jimmy Shane extending it out. 3A sponsored by Explore Lake Guntersville. ExploreLakeGuntersville.com. Checkered flag waving. Your winner of 3A, Jimmy Shane and Miss Home Street. Second place will go to Corey Peabody in the Lynx Healthcare. Jeff Bernard had the best start of all in lane number 1, but fell back to 3rd spot. Jeff Bernard 3rd place in the 91 Goodman Real Estate. We don't want to forget about Jamie Nielsen. Jamie exiting turn number 2. He will come down to get the checkered flag. And Brad, I think there might be some damage on the 11. No, that's just the way the sun is shining on the forks of the boat. 4th place to Jamie Nielsen in the Miss Colleen.
I believe the word is wow. That run down to complete lap number 1 when the 3 of them fanned out, that was some kind of good-looking boat.
The 2022 Lake Guntersville Hydrofest APBA Gold Cup for the H1 Unlimited Hydroplanes.
We are inside 6 minutes to the start. While we were talking there, it happened. In fact, we're 550 right now away from the start. It is Heat 3B of the H1 Unlimited Hydroplane Series. It is the 2022 APBA Gold Cup here in beautiful Lake Guntersville in Guntersville, Alabama. Heat 3B is presented to the Hydrofest by Explore Lake Guntersville. Follow them on Facebook, Explore Lake Guntersville. And if you're not here, that's a good place to go. Dial them up and see what we're talking about, because we are not overselling this one.
Boats leaving the pit area right now. The first one out is the U40 Miss Beacon Plumbing with Dave Vilwalk, followed by the U8 Miss Tri-Cities with J. Michael Kelly and Jimmy King getting a light and answer to the turbocharged Allison U3. Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware. 3 laps in this Explore Lake Guntersville Unlimited Heat 3B. Clock start. It is fight for lanes in H1 Unlimited. Brad, that's what makes H1 Unlimited hydroplane racing exciting. These drivers out here right now, when they left, have no idea what lane they'll be in right now. That's what we call the race before the race. ID our boats in this heat.
Yeah, first thing I want everybody to watch right now, I may be wrong on this one, but that is J. Michael Kelly on the outside. See if Mike doesn't really wind it up here. He did not have what looked like a good boat ride earlier today. I think he wants to find out right now. Boat ride looks pretty good. He just pulled his foot and he let Dave go by. Jeff, he came out of the pit area rocking and rolling and went around Dave at the top end, put his foot in it, and I just had the hunch he was going to give it a hard squirt down the front straightaway and see what the boat ride looked like. The only other piece I want to mention about all that is, for the first time this weekend, we actually have a little bit of a chop out here. We've got a little bit of a breeze coming across. This is going to be, and the water is by no means rough, but this is the roughest water that we have seen all weekend. It's the first time it hasn't laid down like a mill pond.
It is, Brad, but very manageable.
Oh, yes.
Coming up here for 3B, we are 330 away, and here's the Turbinator. Turbocharged Allison. Brad, as the day went on yesterday, these fans in Guntersville, they like the Turbinator.
They do like the Turbinator, and there he is, Jimmy King behind the wheel. Now, what's going on behind Mr. King right now is very interesting. We mentioned that J. Michael Kelly is number 5 in points. The top 5 boats in points get the run on the front row. Kelly is sitting on the bubble, and he's got a tough draw here. He is shadowing Dave Villwalk. Dave Villwalk up the backstretch tried to leave him and lose him and cut the course. Mike went right with him. Keep an eye on those 2 boats. Now Mike has kind of let him go, him being Dave Villwalk in the bright orange Beacon Plumbing, as Villwalk goes past Jimmy King in the piston-powered boat. Watch the top end of the course, Jeff Ayler. Let's see if anybody wants to come across. We are at 2:35.
Brad, your thoughts? I think the Turbinator, Jimmy King, right now, 600 points in the 3rd position right now in the point totals. I think they'll go the outside, remain clean, be safe. I think right now J. Michael Kelly would love to get lane number 1 to put Villwalk on his outside hip and have that positioning on the buoy row. That's kind of how I see this milling period taking place.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think J. Michael Kelly is going to pull a rabbit out of the hat here and try and make a decent move or a good move to try and get that inside lane. We always say, Jeff, if you've got an ace up your sleeve, you don't want to play it in the preliminary heat, but when you're sitting on the bubble and you're number 5 in points and you draw these 2 guys, you got something good up your sleeve. You got to make it work. Here comes Dave. Dave's going to come across behind everybody, so that's going to leave Kelly with an inside lane, Jeff.
Beautiful shot of the Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware on our video with H1 Unlimited via YouTube, going by the start-finish line buoy. We are coming up on the 1-minute 30-second mark. There it is, 1:30 away. So Jimmy King will lead the field down in turn number 1, and Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware. Right now, J. Michael Kelly does have the positioning to be on the inside of Villwalk and Beacon Plumbing. You have to have your lane established prior to the entrance pin. Turn number 2 to the left of us here on Lake Guntersville. Brad King is to the outside. Bring this lane situation up for Kelly and Villwalk.
The U8, the Miss Tri-Cities. J. Michael Kelly behind the wheel is in lane number 1. Then next to him, the bright orange boat, the U40, the Beacon Plumbing, driven by Dave Villwalk, the winningest driver in the history of H1 Unlimited Racing. And Jeff Ayler, as you called it, Jimmy King didn't want to have any part of it. He stayed wide to the outside. I think he's going to wind that thing up and give it a run down to the start. We still have we still have 35 seconds now until our start. The 3 boats are approaching the entrance pin to the buoy. They're a little bit early, but they're going to be just fine. They're going to be able to get a good run at the start. This might be real good. Coming up on 23, 2, 1. 20 seconds. Jeff, let's start. Heat 3B, presented by Explore Lake Guntersville.
I like the sequence. You need to be there at 15 seconds off the exit pin. Everyone was. The rooster tail rises. We are now 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. It appears to be a clean start. We're racing in Explore Lake Guntersville. Unlimited Heat 3B here at the 2022 APBA Gold Cup. Into turn number 1, and getting there first is Dave Villwalk in lane number 2 in the Beacon Plumbing. J. Michael Kelly tucked back in second. Brad, it's Villwalk leading, but can Kelly get a charge?
We're going to find out what kind of shoot speed Mike's got right now. The start is good. So the start was legal. The way they're running on the water is the way they are running legally from a start perspective. You can hear King. He is on the outside of J. Michael Kelly. He's in 3rd place. But Jeff Ayler, the speed in the U40 Beacon Plumbing. Dave's got a rocket up there. He is walking away from JMK.
Villwalk clearly in front, but we got a side-by-side battle for second. Dave Villwalk will come down to complete lap number 1 in Explore Lake Guntersville Unlimited 3B, but here's your deck-to-deck battle for second, and the Turbinator pulls Kelly on the outside. Villwalk clearly in front. Brad will watch this second place duel as they go into turn number 1. Kelly getting in the wake of Villwalk in turn number 1, and King's got smoother water on the outside wake. Brad, they come off side by side.
Yeah, believe me, Dave Villwalk knows exactly what's going on behind him. He also knows that Kelly's got to get points, so he's leaving him as rough a lane as he can, and Kelly's having to run through it. Meanwhile, King in the piston boat. Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware, opened up about 6 boat lengths all the way at the top end of the course. course already at the apex. U40 Beacon Plumbing. Dave Villwalk showing an incredible amount of power. Kelly's got to stay after this, Jeff. Oh, and he hooked up there a little bit. He got loose and had to pull his foot. It's a tough one for Kelly in that slop in one.
It's all Dave Villwalk and Explorer Lake Guntersville. Unlimited Heat 3B, white flag displayed. One more lap to go for Villwalk in front. But boy, what a performance by the Turbinator. Jimmy King and U3. Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware. Right now, King in a solid second place finish. And the Go 3 racing team looking for their third second place on the weekend. J. Michael Kelly remains in the third position. Brad, it's all Villwalk, but let's keep our eye on King and Kelly for second.
This is a Dodge. It's a direct connection to the spirit of the past while powering this brand into tomorrow. It's fueled by the Brotherhood, but powered by lithium. I'm talking about batteries driving electric drive motors to deliver instant torque to all four wheels. In 2025, the all-new Charger will also be available as a six-pack.
I tell you, those guys from Evansville, Indiana, the red U3 Turbinator. Griggs presents Ace Hardware. They came to race. This thing's running really hard. Kelly is in a tough spot right now. He's running through a whole bunch of slop. He got caught in it at the top end of the race course. He got caught in the bottom end of the race course. Checkered flag goes up in the air. As you like to say, Jeff, final turn, final lap. Bring home Mr. Villwalk.
Explore Lake Guntersville, Unlimited Heat 3B, 68-year-old Dave Villwalk wins it in U40 Miss Beacon Plumbing. The third second place finish for the weekend for the Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware. Jimmy King in second in the Turbinator. Third place will go to J. Michael Kelly in the U8 Miss Tri-Cities. So unofficially, Dave Villwalk your winner. In Beacon Plumbing, Jimmy King second. Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware. J. Michael Kelly third in Miss Tri-Cities. Brad Villwalk's got some power. He's got a great boat ride. But this Turbinator, 5 o'clock this afternoon, if they can hook that piston-powered boat up in lane number 1, might cause a little bit of havoc.
Somebody's going to have to deal with him sooner or later. They have run beautifully out here. And we said this is a good course for him. They're showing it. The boat is really, really fast in the straightaway. You called the start, put him on a wide outside, let him wind it up. He did. And beautiful start. Brought him across. He broke the clock. Took him down to turn 1.
Well, that's where you're using your team, your thoughts before going out. The Turbinator, 3 second place finishes on the weekend. Brad, that gives them 900 points. So right now, a nice finish in the 4th section, and Charlie Grigg, the sponsor out of Tri-Cities, Washington, could see Griggs presents Miss Ace Hardware in this front row final heat of the 2022 Gold Cup. The Turbinator.